All right. Please, can the host, DK, please enable screen sharing for me. Hello, DK.
Yes, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Not the host for now. Let me see.
Okay. Well, very sorry. We will be starting anytime soon. I'm trying to get the host to enable screen sharing for me so that we can start. So, by the way, for those of us just joining, we're introducing ourselves in the chat box, name, course of study, and country. So the last person was Flourish Aiko, MBBS Nigeria. So let me just start all over again. For if you've introduced yourself already, no need. This is how it went. So those of us just joining, please, you can introduce yourself while we're waiting for the host. Okay, so we have God knows. I need to catch up. We have Uzoma, MBBS Nigeria. We have Victoria, MBBS Nigeria. We have God knows, MBBS Nigeria. We have Ellen, MBBS Nigeria. Okay.
If you can connect you can share your screen right now.
All right. So are we good? Good evening, everybody, once again. I am Effiong Fortune. I'm the Director for Research and Deputy Coordinator of TORASIF. It's good to have you all here. TORASIF is an organization that is focused on research. Our goal is to build research capacity. Our goal is to raise critical thinkers who can identify societal challenges and be challenged to bring about innovations. That's our major objective. And we split our objectives into building research capacities and innovation and actually researching, writing, and publications. So under building research capacity, one of our sub-objectives is building research capacity among students. And our strategy for achieving that is building or establishing research arms in student bodies. So we started something with NiMSA some months ago to build the NiMSA Standing Committee Research Exchange, and that's what gave birth to this webinar, right? So we are doing something similar with Nigerian Medical Laboratory Science students and student bodies in Ghana and Kenya. So we want students, even as students, to be publishing. We want them to write and publish, and we want them to have that confidence in themselves that whatever idea comes to their mind, it can be useful to the scientific community. So today, the 4th day of the research training, I'll be speaking on plagiarism in research. I have to time myself so that I don't take so much time. So this is the aim and objective of the model. At the end of this model, you should understand the concepts of plagiarism, different types and forms of plagiarism, the reason why students plagiarize. You should understand the consequences of plagiarism, what to do to avoid plagiarism, and understand the different softwares used in detecting plagiarism, right? You also learn how to use them. Focus will be on Turnitin and Quillbots. Sorry, not Quillbots. Focus will be on Turnitin. And you also learn how to interpret Turnitin reports. So at the end of this webinar, like I said, I'll be giving discounts to 10 participants for a Turnitin account, a Quillbot, or a Grammarly account. So stay tuned. That will be done at the end of the webinar. So let's proceed. Before we proceed, I want to engage us a little. What is plagiarism? Can somebody answer, please? You can off your mic and answer. What's plagiarism? Somebody's in the chat box. Okay. Can somebody answer what's plagiarism? Hello? No idea? Are we fooling at all? Is somebody listening to me?
I want to answer.
Plagiarism.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, somebody speaking. Please just your name, and then you speak. Your name, you speak.
Okay.
People are
Prince Onyeka.
okay.
Okay, so plagiarism is presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own.
Okay.
You know, that's what I understand.
Okay, let me read from the comment box. Any other person? Okay, somebody said Yusuf, this is Yusra Ashraf, direct lifting of other researchers' work. Victoria says passing off an original concept without citing them. Agbugiu, sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing some of our names. Plagiarism, simply put, it is taking credit for work that isn't yours. We have Anye Kanabas, using someone's ideas just without crediting them. So I think I'll stop there. All these definitions are correct, or to an extent they are correct. Let us see standard definitions of plagiarism. I would get to appreciate it most. Some of us I didn't get it really right, and then we'll get it henceforth. So, what is plagiarism? Different schools of thought have defined plagiarism. The US Office of Research Integrity says it involves stealing. You can underline the word stealing. It says stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterwards. That's a very, very simple definition of plagiarism. Then Longman Contemporary English Advanced Learners Dictionary says it is a fine when someone uses another person's words. Please, can we see the screen before I proceed? Are we seeing my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great.
Yes, we can.
When you use another person's ideas or work and pretend they are yours. European Code of Conduct, you can see appropriation of other people's materials without giving proper credit. Federal policy, US federal policy on research misconduct says it is the appropriation of another person's ideas, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit. So whatever the school of thought, the basic idea seems to be that someone deliberately takes someone else's work, whether in the form of an idea, method, data, result, text, and present it as their own, instead of giving credit to the person whose idea, result, or word it is. These are the two components of plagiarism. Let me explain. Once you understand these two components, you'll be able to give somebody a good definition of plagiarism anytime, any day, and you'll be able to justify your definition. So there are two main components, there are two core components of plagiarism. The first is that you, Mr. A, let me say Mr. DK, or let me say Mr. F. Young, deliberately takes Mr. DK's work, his idea. It could be his method, it could be his data, it could be his result. So here I am taking DK's work, and then I am presenting it as my own. This is very, very important because this is what really makes it plagiarism. The fact that you are presenting this work as your own without giving credit to DK. That's what makes it plagiarism. So plagiarism in research. Of course, plagiarism is one of the core instances of research misconduct, the other to be fabrication and falsification. I'll ask a question here. Can somebody help us differentiate between fabrication and falsification in research, in the context of research?
Fabrication is inventing, and falsification is modifying data.
That's absolutely amazing. That's beautiful. If we're in a class now, I would have said clap, but I'll say clap. That's a beautiful one. Yes, fabrication is, let's say, for example, I want to do a research on COVID-19 vaccination among college students in University of Calabar. And maybe I'm too lazy, or I'm tired, or maybe I couldn't meet up. And then I just sat down in my house one day, I made the result, I manufactured the result with my system. I started, Mr. A, yes, no, yes, no. The result of the questionnaire, I didn't actually go to the field to give the questionnaire to be filled because maybe time or one or two things. So I'm sitting in my house and generating a result that is not from the field. That is fabrication. You are bringing a result from nowhere. Then falsification is when you are trying to change certain aspect of your work, certain aspect of your result. They have actually submitted the data. These things actually happen in research. Sometimes maybe due to conflict of interest, due to one or two things, you try to change some data to suit what you want people to believe, rather than what is actually obtainable. So these are research misconduct, and they are punishable by, okay, we'll see that later. So it is not an accident that plagiarism is caused in relation to research, all because it also occurs in music, literature, art, and design, since it involves intellectual work. So unlike the stealing that we know, where you steal somebody's bag, money, this and this and this. So plagiarism is more like intellectual property. You're stealing somebody's intellectual property. There are things that are called intellectual properties. Those are ideas, music, literature, and all those kind of things. So plagiarism is you stealing somebody's intellectual property. So let's look at this chart below. The 4 types of plagiarism to avoid. I will skip some of them because they're in front in my slide. Paraphrasing someone else's words and attempting to pass it off as your own. Excuse me, let me check something. Okay, taking your own previously published work and reusing all of it as a new work. I'll talk about it, self-plagiarism. Using part of someone else's work in your own without citation, I will talk about it. Paraphrasing someone else's word. Sorry, I've said that already. Submitting someone else's work with your name on it. So this is very, very common. This is very, very common among undergrads. So let's say you were given an assignment, a term paper, a seminar presentation, a project, and you couldn't work on it, you couldn't do anything. Very, very common. You would pick an old work, similar work that somebody has done, you copy verbatim, and then you just change the name. That one is automatic plagiarism. That's 100% plagiarism. Let's go forward. Other forms of plagiarism in research. We have self-plagiarism, duplicate. I should have. Can somebody tell me what is salami slicing? Hello? Can somebody attempt? What is salami slicing? What is self-plagiarism?
Okay, I would like to ask. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, salami slicing. Okay, since salami is like a piece of meat, I guess salami slicing is like taking your work, cutting it into bits and pieces and distributing it so that it can be traced to you. I guess that's what.
Yeah, you're correct, you're correct. What about self-plagiarism?
Okay, I should still answer.
Yeah, you can still answer.
Okay, self-plagiarism basically is you've done something before, so maybe it wasn't as good as you thought it was, so you just come and bring it forward again, like present it as a new work, but you've done it before. I guess that's what it is.
Okay, that's okay, that's nice, that's fine. All right, let's see. What about duplicate publication? Anybody? Duplicate publication? Nobody. I will proceed.
Let him know. I can try. I think, hello, you can hear me.
Very well.
I think duplicate publication is having the same paper, one of the same paper being published twice, either by different journals.
That's very correct. That's very correct. So let's look at them. Self-plagiarism. When you use something you've done already as a new work, please, it is not bad for you to use your idea. It's not bad for you to use something you've done already. But what you should underline, what you should have in mind is when you present it as new, that is what makes it deceptive. I might have worked on universal coverage. I must have talked about, I must have proposed inclusion of health education. I have been proposing that, I proposed that in my previous paper as a policy recommendation. And then in a new paper, I'm bringing it up as a new policy recommendation, whereas I'm supposed to have cited the previous work. Because when you are bringing something you've done already as a new something, you are now deceiving us that your research is new, when in the strict sense, it is not new. And that's what we are looking for. We want novelty first before any other thing. So duplicate publication, duplicate publication. This is what journals try to guide against.
Stopping me now. I'm not. I can't hear.
If you've ever submitted to a journal, has anybody else
I'm trying to pay attention.
And has anybody submitted a paper to a journal before? Somebody say it's not loud. Okay, so if you have ever submitted to a journal, where the journal have their terms and conditions while you're submitting, you would see where you see a checklist that you should agree that you have not submitted this paper to another journal before. And you will not, or let me say, the paper that you're about to submit must not be in another journal currently and should not be sent to another journal subsequently, as much as or as long as it is in this journal. I don't know whether we get it. If you want to submit a paper to International Journal of Health and Life Science, they will tell you, sister, brother, this paper you are submitting to us, please, we don't want it to have been submitted in Modern K Journal or let's say Pan-African Medical Journal. Because if you submit like that, this same paper can be published in those three places, and that's something like triple publication. So this is what journal tries to guide against. And if you are caught doing this kind of thing, well, I don't know what other punishment is there, but from the experience, the paper gets rejected. But I think there are broader consequences, like you lose your I don't know what to say. So when the self-plagiarizer uses shorter passages of text in repeated sentences, we call it inappropriate recycling of material. For example, you've been talking about inclusion of health education in school curricula time and again in all your papers. You want to put that in all your papers, or in that particular paper, you're putting it like 20 times, 30 times without citing yourself, even though it's your own idea. it becomes plagiarism, right? Salami slicing, so it's correct when you have a study. Let's say you're working on a review paper, and then you've gotten to a point that, wow, you'll see, you're looking at it that this review, I can actually split it into 4 commentaries. Can somebody tell me the difference between review and commentary? Hello? Hello, is somebody hearing me? Okay, I'll proceed. Now, let's say in your review, you've had like 5 sections, and then maybe let's say you're talking about COVID-19 vaccination, and then under COVID-19 vaccination in a review paper, you've talked about efforts by African countries. Let's say COVID-19 vaccination in Africa, you've talked about efforts, you've talked about challenges, you've talked about states, and you've talked about recommendations. And now you now decide to split all these sections into different papers so that you get like 5 or 4 letters to the editors from this paper. That's what is known as salami slicing. Please, are we following? Hello?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
following.
yes. I'm
Okay,
following.
okay. So what is not, what is not plagiarism? When can we say own words and let's say nobody has an intellectual claim? For example, 10 of us or 30 something of us here could use the word "he saw me" in our paper, open the door, I am tired and need some sleep. Nobody will come and hold you and say this statement was made by me. You cannot trace any of this statement to anybody, that this is somebody's sentence, somebody's idea, this is somebody's word. So you don't, when you use common words, common ideas, common expressions, it's not plagiarism. So other examples, this is very common. The questionnaire was distributed to random. This is something we often see in original studies. Statistical analysis was conducted. The study was granted ethical approval, right? But then what happens if we are using the same number of ordinary sentences concurrently? Let's say I am saying in my paper, I am saying he saw me, open the door, I am tired and need some sleep, just in that line. And then you are doing the same thing. It now indicates plagiarism because, oh, why should we be using, or there is doubt, why should we be using the same common sentence concurrently? Therefore means that I was copying you or you were copying me. So that is it. So like if you've run a Turnitin report, at the end I'll show the Turnitin report, you would see that there are some things Turnitin always highlights or underline or whatever you would say. Those things are not actually plagiarized, but it detects them as plagiarism. Those things are common expressions. Like you've seen here, chapter 5, conclusion and recommendation, that is a Turnitin report. It's showing it as plagiarized. I'll, at the end of the lesson, show us how we can interpret Turnitin reports. So why do students plagiarize? Well, there are 4 main reasons here. This was actually a survey that was conducted to understand why students plagiarize. I think this survey was done by Turnitin. There is a chat here. Let me read it, please. Okay. So this one says lack of research skills. Now, that is why you enroll for webinars like this. That is why you build on your research skills by reading and by being active in your school research classes or sessions and enrolling in webinars like this. Because why students plagiarize, you can see it's the huge chunk, it's 34%. They lack research skills. They don't know what is plagiarism. They don't know when they are plagiarizing. They don't know when they are not plagiarizing. So that is why webinars like this will help you know, oh, this is how I should write my paper. This is how I should not write. So that is the problem we are trying to solve. We are trying to reduce this blue these blue charts. I wanted asking us on our own selves, why do you plagiarize? Personally, why do you plagiarize? So just lack of research skills, just say blue. The reason why you plagiarize is lack of time. You just say red. Briefly, please. Why do you plagiarize? Hello? There's somebody
Hello,
says red. Yeah, somebody says blue. Okay. Red and blue, lack of time, lack of research skills. At least we'll be able to solve those problems. Somebody say blue, we have red and blue. We have red, we have blue. Okay, that's great, that's great. Blue, I think those are problems that we can solve. So lack of time, this one, you understand it very well. Well, let's say you were given an assignment to submit on Monday, and well, today is Saturday, and it's a 10 paper, or let's say it's a seminar presentation, is like how many pages? Well, what you do if you're actually waking up from that slumber on a Saturday after they have given you like 2 months, 3 months to work on that paper. By the way, all of us fall victim for this particular problem, even me. So what you will just have to, you just copy, you just open your Wikipedia, you copy, you're pasting, you're copying, you're pasting. You don't even have time to paraphrase, whether you even know what is paraphrasing. So that's it. That's why 26% of students will plagiarize. Now, I just mentioned paraphrasing. Students also plagiarize because they don't know how to paraphrase. That is a research skill which we will learn today. So careless note-taking, confusion on how to cite sources. Before I go to careless note-taking, let me talk about confusion on how to cite sources. This one actually will be taken on, I think, the second to the last session or the last session, citation and citation styles. So maybe I shouldn't talk about it. Now, careless note-taking. Now, personally, what happens to me, or what happened to me in my early days as a researcher, is that when I'm taking notes, when I'm reading, when I'm doing my literature review, which we did in our last session, I don't note the sources. So imagine you've consulted like 10 literatures, and then you are just reading it for enjoyment's sake. You're not noting the sources of your ideas. Sometimes I'll write down the ideas, but I feel so lazy to write the sources. And the consequence is that when I'm pulling down my work and taking out what I don't want and keeping what I want, I find it difficult to get the citation for this particular idea. And what do you think will happen? Plagiarism. I'll leave it like that, or I entirely remove that idea. But if the idea was important, I'll have to leave it like that. I'll have to plagiarize. So that is it. Get to the next slide. Consequences of plagiarism. Basically, I don't know what is obtainable in your school, because this is gonna be school specific, it's gonna be country specific. Some places are more strict. I'm very sure of the US, many schools there are strict. UK schools are strict with plagiarism, but for Nigeria, not really sure. Not really sure. The worst thing that can happen to you probably in Nigeria when you plagiarize is that you get a low grade, right? So that's it. But if you are submitting to a journal as a researcher, if you are submitting to a journal, the consequence is that, of course, the journal will reject it. I forgot to attach a rejection mail from a journal when they rejected my paper because of plagiarism. So if you are submitting a journal, the consequence that the journal reject. I don't really think there's anything to your time. But in your professional development, you're climbing to become a doctor, you're climbing to become a professor, a master's holder. There can be little consequences that can be attached. It can tarnish your reputation, it can reduce your hierarchy in your establishment. It depends on country. All these things are country specific. So that's it. So I won't talk much on it. Ways to avoid plagiarism. Okay, so let's start from being organized and starting early. You can see that most of us complained or had pointed out that the reason why we plagiarize is because of lack of time. But if you're organized and you start your work early, it can reduce that red chart. And imagine you've attended this webinar, it has reduced the blue chart. You've also attended this webinar, the webinar has emphasized starting early. Let's say you've built your research skill and then you're starting early. Imagine that your chances of plagiarism can reduce by more than 50%. So when you are given a project, when you are given a seminar presentation, the best thing is to start early. This is a skill, I understand. It is very, very easy to say it. Even me, as I'm saying it, I have a work I was supposed to submit tomorrow. And I just started it yesterday or day before yesterday. So these kind of things happen. You need to understand that they happen, but then you should not be proud of those kind of failures. You should rather work to build and become better, because the more you try to address these failures, the more you try to build yourself in these angles, the better for you. You'll be able to meet up deadlines and do your work very, very well without any problem. So record information sources. Like I told you, most times I'll take an idea, I'll not record where I got it from. I'll not record that this information was gotten from DBC et al. 2021. So when I'm now putting my work down, where did I get this information from? Where did I get this information from? I'll now start scanning all the PDFs that I've downloaded, all the, you can imagine that's a big waste of time. So a work that you should have completed in 7 days, you're now completing it in let's say 2 weeks. So those are the challenges I faced in my early days of research as a researcher. So I think now I'm doing better in those angles. So paraphrasing, we'll learn how to paraphrase in subsequent slide. Reference all sources. It's the same thing, and you learn about referencing in subsequent classes. There is what we call in-text citation, and there's what we call reference. Now, in-text citation supports the idea inside the document, inside the work. But then at the end of the work, at the end of everything, there is a separate section called reference. It contains the complete information of the sources you consulted. So the last one is ask your teacher or librarian. Now, not that they'll bring anything new, they'll basically tell you these 4 points that we've made already. So if you ask your teacher, your professor, they'll tell you the same things we have said. So how do you avoid plagiarism? This is a very important chart. You can even screenshot this. This will be very. Please, can somebody give me a sentence? You can use a chat box. Can somebody give me a sentence? Purple. Somebody said purple. Just give me a random sentence so that you can use for this example. Hello. Colors day bright. Okay, I'm a girl. Malaria makes patients weak. I think I'll go with that. So let's assume that this is from I'll go with the second name, Ashraf. This is from Ashraf. Malaria makes patients weak. So let's say this word, malaria make patients weak, is from Ashraf, right? Now, if I want to adopt the exact word that Ashraf is using in my paper, maybe because of the importance, the value of the words. There's some words you don't need to change. The power of that word is in just using the words as the author had used it. Let's say, for example, somebody's like Adebisi said, consistency is a superpower. You know, the power of this statement will lie in me using the exact word that he used. So when you are using the exact word that somebody used, like Ashraf says, malaria makes patients weak, you need to put that in quotation, and then you cite that this is from Ashraf 2021, talking about your in-text citation. Now, this will depend on your citation style. You will learn that in subsequent classes. But now, if it is not the person's word, that's when you see no, but it's a person's idea. Let me say, Ashraf is trying to say that, okay, what if I say the disease caused by P. falciparum can cause serious weakness, right? Yeah, I think I'm on the right track. I'm conveying the same idea that Ashraf was conveying. So the disease caused by P. falciparum can cause excessive weakness. So I am borrowing an idea, but then I have changed the words. Now, where most students get it wrong is that at this point, they feel that they should not cite, right? They feel since it is now their own words that they can go away with it. No. So far you're borrowing the person's idea. That means that what the person is saying and what you're currently saying directly or indirectly mean the same thing. You need to cite the person. You don't put it in quotation mark. You just cite. You only put in quotation when you are, taking the person's words. Now, if it's not the person's words, if it's not the person's idea, what happens? You do not cite it. That means that is something you don't have to cite. Let me say malaria makes patient weak, and this makes patients, or this make people seek hospital treatments. Sorry, it doesn't really make sense, but that's the point. So this one is my own word. I don't need to cite this. I don't need to reference this to anybody. This is just my own word, and it's my own idea. Let's proceed. All right. So paraphrasing, very, 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 very important. Very important. So let us look at this chart very well. We'll start with how to paraphrase a paragraph, and then we'll look at what you shouldn't do. I think that's okay. Now, steps in paraphrasing. When you've gotten an idea, you change the words. Don't use somebody's words. Don't use verbatim. No matter how interesting that word is, try as much as possible to paraphrase. Quotation should be very, very rare. Check top scientific journals, check journal articles. You hardly see any quotation. It is very, very rare. So you need to try to avoid this. No matter how sweet it is, try to make it. That's the beauty. Try to make it in your own words and present the same idea. That's what is called paraphrasing. So let's look at the steps of paraphrasing. The first thing is read, right? You read the idea. Please, can somebody just drop another sentence? Can somebody drop another sentence? Let me do something with it. Hello? I just want another sentence. Let's work with it. Can I give my own? Okay, let me draw. Okay, tuberculosis is common among poor people. Number of suicide cases increase every year. Okay. Let's see how we can work with this. Tuberculosis is common among tall people. I just wish the sentence is longer. Uterine atony is the most frequent cause of PPH. Let me see, is that tuberculosis? Tuberculosis is common among tall people. Now, this is something I've read from Amanosi. Amanosi is something I've read. The first thing is you read it. And the second thing is that you point the main idea. Now, what is the main idea in this? There's one new message. Yes, what was PPH? Please help us. The main idea in this sentence is tuberculosis. Sorry, the main idea is that tuberculosis is common among tall people. That's actually the idea. So this is the idea I have in mind. I've read it and I've understood that a disease called tuberculosis is common among tall people. Postpartum hemorrhage. All right, thank you. Now, the next step is you read it again. Tuberculosis is common among tall people. That means when you grab the information, you try to analyze it in your mind to understand it. Make sure that you are comfortable with it. I used to recommend you interpret it in your native language, because Abdaisin said, if you cannot explain to somebody, then you don't understand it. So me, I'm adding to that is quote, that if you cannot interpret it in your native language, that means you don't understand. So when you see an idea that you need to paraphrase, when you see an idea that you want to use in your study, interpret it in your main language, in your native language. Is there anything I can interpret in my language here? Let me see. Number of suicide. All these things are medical terms. It won't really make sense in my language. Sorry, I'm coming. Malaria makes patient weak. Okay, for example, in my language, you would say, right? When you interpret something in your language, it shows that you understand it very well. If you can type, you can also type this in your language and then tell me the language, tell me the dialect. That is what I just said is EFIC of Cross River States. So malaria makes patients weak, that's interpretation. So when you interpret this sentence, it means that you understand it. You completely understand the concept. The next thing that you do is you read it again to be sure that you are still in line. Changing the words, let me not say change the words, you new idea, use a new sentence structure to show that you understand what the writer or what the author was saying. So for example, malaria makes patients weak. To prove that I really understand it, I try to interpret it in my language and then I come up with something entirely different. I can say the disease caused by the parasite Plasmodium falciparum. It's one new message. Kiswahili. I think it's not supposed to be Swahili. Malaria, can't do that. So when you now understand it, you now build up a different sentence structure. And then the fifth step, is to check. You now check if what you're saying now corresponds with what the author was saying originally. Excuse me. That means the idea I am conveying now, is it the same thing the author, the original author of this idea was conveying? That means you're in track if it is the same. So you reference, you cite the person. It doesn't mean because you've touched your brain left and right to change it to your own words. You don't want to cite it. You feel you've done so much. You still need to cite the person because the person owns the idea, right? So what you should not do not simply replace words or synonyms. That means malaria makes patients weak. You change the word is the sentence is very short. It's very difficult to bring up something. Malaria makes patients weak. I don't know if I can get another sentence. Let me say, public face mask usage corresponds to the most effective mitigation strategy. Public face mask usage corresponds to the most effective mitigation strategy. So because you think you are paraphrasing, you are just changing mitigation to reduce, and you feel that you've done it. No, it is not enough to just simply change a particular word and give a new synonym, right? You do not simply reorder the information or sentence. That means, for example, if it was in the passive voice, you change it to the active voice. Let me say public face mask usage corresponds to the most effective mitigation strategy, and then you change it to the most effective mitigation strategy is public face mask usage, and you feel that is enough. Most times, well, that's good, but that's not paraphrasing. That is not what you should do if you want to paraphrase very well. You should follow the steps we took before. Do not simply remove and add some words or phrases. It's the same with point 1. Do not use some new phrasing, but do not forget to cite your source. So it's basically what we have said already. Now, tips on paraphrasing is what we have said. You change the original word choice, you create your own syntax, your own idea, your own concept, your own choice of words, not concepts. It's the same concept. Let's say your own choice of words, your own sentence structure, but the same idea. Use a thesaurus. Thesaurus is a common feature in our MS Word. So you check your dictionary just to check. If I'm not using mitigation, what can I use? If I'm not using corresponds, what can I use? Those are the kind of things that you should do. Try to change the sentence structure. That means if it is in passive voice, you consider what if I can put this in active voice? What if I can split this sentence into 2 sentences? Sorry, let's proceed. All right, paraphrasing softwares like Quillbot and Manchester Phrase Bank can be of help, but it is important not to rely on them too much. We are going to do a little experiment now. We are going to try and experiment working with Quillbot. You can check Manchester Phrase Bank on your own self. Somebody should give me a sentence, please. We are going to try to use Quillbot to do something now. We're going to see how Quillbot works so that we'll appreciate it. A sentence, please. Nothing. Need a sentence. We have to try something with Quillbot. Quillbot is a paraphrasing software. Okay, I think I'll just try something myself. Okay, so let's check Quillbot.com. This is a paraphrasing platform. Cholera is common in slums. To cook rice, you need to bring the, wow, this is nice. It is important to have proper hygiene to avoid typhoid in a population. I'll use this from Ashraf. Ashraf, I'm picking your own now. Sorry, I'm trying to load the Quillbot's network is a bit bad. Excuse me. Yeah. I think I'm getting redirected into something else. Nope. Okay, let's do something. Okay, finally. I'm very sorry. I am very sorry. I think we can just try this. Okay, this will work. Okay, I get it. I was getting it wrong. So Quillbot is a paraphrasing software, a paraphrasing platform. I'm also selling that. So if you want the premium account, I can give it to you. So this is how it looks like. Please, can we see this screen? Hello, please. I need responses. Can we see this screen? The Google Chrome screen.
Yes.
Okay, so here in Quillbot, I am going to paste. I copied what Ashraf said. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to paste it here. This dates, paste it. Copy something else. Sorry, I'm trying to go get what she said again. Copy. So paraphrase. It is important. Let me correct the spelling first to avoid. I'm sorry, to avoid typhoid in the population. Okay, so when you click paraphrase, this is what Quillbot does for you. You would love it, you will enjoy it, but it will also make you to be lazy. And then there is another disadvantage I'll tell you very soon. Sorry, network is very poor. Can we just try this with our phones? If you can do this with your phone, just let me know your result. It is important to have proper hygiene to avoid typhoid in a population. Excuse me, if you can do this with your phone, please just paraphrase it with keyboards and then give me response in the comment section. Yes, I can give you the premium section, the premium version, sorry. Hello, can we just try this, please? You will try copying what Ashraf said. It is important to have proper hygiene to avoid typhoid in a population. Yeah, network is misbehaving. And then just open Quillbots, Quillbot, and then paste it and then paraphrase. I feel if you are doing it with your phone, it will work better. I just need one feedback and then we'll proceed. I just want you to appreciate it. Hello, nobody? Okay, thank you very much. To avoid typhoid in a population, adequate cleanliness is essential. Beautiful. To avoid typhoid in a population, adequate cleanliness is essential, the same thing. So that is actually what Quillbots can do. That is actually what all right, so let's hello, have we all tried it? Hello?
Yes, we have. Sir.
Yes, we are trying. The network is a little bit bad.
Okay. Okay, I'll just give us 2 minutes assignment now. Just check Manchester Press Bank and just go through the site, go through how it looks like. Manchester Press Bank is not entirely like Quillbot. It deals with phrases that you can use. Maybe you want to know how to start a particular sentence or a particular concept. Just ask those phrases as a bank that you can borrow from. So while I wait for you to appreciate it, I just need 2 minutes to attend to something. Thank you.
Sorry, sir, I didn't quite get the sorry, sir, please, what was your instruction?
All right. Hello. Sorry, I'm back. I had to attend to something. Hello, are we still here?
Yes, we are
Yes, I
here.
can hear you.
Please let me know the
Yes,
screen. Let me know the screen that is currently displayed now in your system or your phone. Is it the I took it off the internet to give it to you?
Paraphrasing continue.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I think we've appreciated the concept of paraphrasing. But I was telling us the consequence of or the disadvantage of this is that, you know, Quibbot is a machine and it can wrongly misplace your idea or concept. It just knows how to arrange words. It is possible that it misplaces the idea or concept. You get to know this or understand this while you are using the account. So while you are using Quibbot, you have to use it with wisdom, right? As you're using it, you're checking if it has, distorted the message or the original meaning of the word. So that is it. Another problem is that it will not allow you to think. Because sometimes that's the form of research. You're able to think, you're trying to brainstorm on what can work and what will not work in a particular sentence. I've put in messages here. Let me just. Manchester Press Bank. Sorry, Manchester Press Bank. Bank. Yeah, I can give different sentence. Yeah. Okay. Let's proceed. All right, softwares used to identify plagiarism: Authenticate, Viper, Helioblast, Turnitin, and Grammarly, right? So the only one I'll concentrate on is Turnitin because Turnitin is by far the best. So for that, I know it could be an opinion, but it's mostly what most journals use, and it's what I use personally. So it's what I'm going to teach us. You can just explore others. I also use Grammarly once in a while. I was using Grammarly for plagiarism when I didn't get a Turnitin account. So when I got a Turnitin account, there's no need for a Grammarly because Turnitin by far does more things than Grammarly. So just explore other options. So let's look at Turnitin. So this is a typical Turnitin report. Now, if you want this Turnitin account, you can email me later. My email is attached to the end of this slide, or you could reach out to DK or Nathan or NiMSA SCORE, other hosts. They could give you my WhatsApp contact. You could message me. I'll give you this account. I said I was going to give discount to 10%. So it's obviously the first 10% that will message me. I'll give you discount. So Turnitin, this is a Turnitin report. You can see the different color codes. 90% to show, of course, the work is really plagiarized and it's showing red. So you can see the yellow code is 41, 30 something. You can see these are all Turnitin reports from me. This is what I've done for people, for myself, for my group work, and all those kind of things. So this is a work I did. I got 0%. I was very happy. It's the first time ever, and it's the only document I've worked on. I got 0% Turnitin report. So that means that there is no similarity. Turnitin has not seen similarity between your documents or your work with any other work that exists online. So you can see that you have 16%, you have 6%, you have 19%. Those ones in green, those ones are not too bad. Most journals can overlook it. But I would suggest that to be on the safe side, let your Turnitin report not be above 15% or 10% between that. Because I know some journals will reject work when Turnitin report is 20%. Journals have this Turnitin. So when you submit your work to them, they scan, they check the plagiarism, and it's automatic rejection if your work is plagiarized. So at least let your work not pass the green code. I would personally suggest let it not pass 20%. Let it not pass 20%. So when you work on something, you have to run a Turnitin report, and then when you see plagiarism, you paraphrase, and then you move on. And this is how to interpret a Turnitin report. This is how a Turnitin report looks like. So this is something I did for my team. we're working on something. So you can see that it matches. This is where you see originality reports. There's a separate picture of an originality report. That's the last section of the document. Can we all see it? Have we all seen it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is the main document. This is the main work. Now the color codes will match. The color code at the originality report will match the color code in the main document. Let me explain. That means when you see 1, it is red. Come to 1 at the originality report, you will know where the person got it from. So that's why when you are taking a work from online, they can tell specifically where you got it from because of Turnitin. That's the beauty of Turnitin. Now, you don't get this kind of analysis from Grammarly. You don't get it from most plagiarism software. This is why Turnitin is top notch. And that's why you should get one. It's very, very important for your research career. So you see this one that is yellow. She got it from 6. This one that is yellow. She got it from 6, submitted to University of North Carolina. This one that is red, number 1. This one that is kind of purple, she got it from this source, Augustine Asante et al. So this is where she got this idea from. So to avoid these kind of things, she could have paraphrased. Look at this one in yellow. It was almost 3 lines, copy and paste. So things like this, you should definitely paraphrase it. You should definitely paraphrase it. So I don't know, do I have any question here in reading or understanding this Turnitin report? Any question? Any question? There's the first question, must one be on premium account to use Turnitin? Yes, exactly. I don't think there's any free Turnitin anyway. I don't think. Turnitin is not like Grammarly or Quillbot. Quillbot have free accounts and then have the premium account. For Turnitin, it's just Turnitin. I don't know of any free Turnitin. It could be there. So for Quillbot and Grammarly, there are certain limitations, and you know that very well. You can have them free online, but there are limitations in terms of, I think, word count. You can just, like Quillbot, you can just paraphrase like 400 to 700 words. You cannot paraphrase your whole project. Yeah, premium account. I'm giving that at $20 for Turnitin, but I said I'll give discount to the first 10 participants that will indicate interest. I don't need to talk much about Turnitin. Turnitin is a software that speaks for itself, and I feel it should be part of your research experience. So these are all Turnitin reports I ran for my friends or my team members. So are we good? Any other question concerning the report? I want to be sure we can interpret this report. The color, the numbers, mostly the numbers, just look at the numbers. The number matches the source. Where you see 1, that means all this red, she got it from source 1. Where you see this blue, you see 2 on top. That means all this, is it purple? She got it from source 2, and so on and so forth. So if you check other aspects of other parts of the work, you see the green, the whatever color is this, and this one, you see all of them. I think we can proceed. We don't have any question. We can proceed to the next slide. Okay. Wow. I have actually reached. Okay, there's something I needed to show us before we end this work. I want to show you a Turnitin report. Sorry. I share. I want to show you something. Let me show you something I experimented. Hello, are we still here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, we are almost done. We are actually done. I just want to show you something I experimented yesterday. So I actually downloaded I downloaded a research work online. I downloaded a file online. So I wanted to see what the Turnitin report will look like. I ran a Turnitin, I converted it to MS Word, ran a Turnitin report, and then just to see what the Turnitin report would look like. Sorry, I'm finding it difficult to navigate. That's why I'm delaying. Very soon. Okay. All right, so I think I can share it now. Okay, this is it. Hello, please, can we see the screen test by Effiong Fortune?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we
Okay.
can.
Okay, so this is a Turnitin report I ran yesterday. I downloaded this file. This is a publication. COVID-19 in an equitable world, the last, the lost, and the least. So I downloaded it online and I didn't change anything. I just ran a Turnitin report with it to see what the Turnitin report would say. Now, look at, you've seen everything is underlined. Everything is underlined. Everything is underlined. Is underlined, is underlined, because the material was just gotten online. The text, sorry, the research article was gotten online. Everything was gotten online. It's just somebody's research work I downloaded. Now it shows 90% similarity index. That means Turnitin is telling you that 90% of these things have been found online. Now you would actually expect it to be 100, right? But I think because of things like this London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, because Turnitin works in percentage, all these ones that are not underlined are responsible for those 10%, which I don't really understand why they are not underlined. They are supposed to be underlined. So all these ones that are not underlined, this where you see these are not underlined, they are responsible for the 10%. I don't understand why they are not underlined. So this was an experiment I did. So it shows you that 85% was gotten from this. So that is it. So Turnitin is very, very important. Now, because most times when I'm working with a team, like when I'm reviewing TORASIF work, most of the people that are there are learners and they will plagiarize. And if you don't have a Turnitin account, it will be very, very difficult for you to pull through, because you would see something and you think it's somebody that is making this sense. You don't know, the person copied it from somewhere. So sometimes when I see something that they have written or something that you've written, I'll be like, maybe I don't think this thing is coming from this person. So I would run the Turnitin, and then Turnitin will help me work on that paper. Even though without the Turnitin report, it will be very difficult because you can't tell where the person is copying from. It is only when you are doing your own work that you know yourself, you know that you have paraphrased. But what somebody else is doing, if you are heading a project, if you are heading a team of researchers and then you need to review all what they have written, it becomes very, very difficult. So this is something that really, really helped me in my project, because whenever they submit to me, the first thing, before I even read your work, before I even read the work, I'll do Turnitin, and if it is more than 20%, I'll tell you to paraphrase before I can continue. So it's very, very helpful if you are heading a project. If not, you would suffer. Something you're supposed to have spent 1 week or 2 weeks, you will spend more than that, and then you end up getting rejection mails. Because for the fact that Turnitin underlines where there is plagiarism, it will just help you. Just go to that section, you highlight it, copy it to Quillbot, and there. But don't depend on Quillbot of everything. Try and be engaging your mind, because that's the fun. You copy it, paste it in Quillbot, paraphrase, you come back, and that's it now. That's why it is easy. So that is it. Going back to the, I realized I had paused the screen sharing. Sorry about that. So that's all. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. I'll entertain questions. You can put it in your chat box. You can also ask me. I'll mute my mic now. Thank you, thank you. You're welcome, you're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Questions, you're welcome. Even if you have a question, this is my email, I'm available. Just message me, I'll respond. Plagiarism or any other aspect of research. There's something I said I was going to show us. Sorry, it's not part of my scope. I don't know. Do we permit me to continue? My time is fast spent. It's something I wanted showing us on getting free articles. Okay, is there a difference between citation and referencing? Yes, well, citation and referencing. Somebody said I have to yeah, I have to paraphrase my own project. Yes, so if you have to paraphrase citation and referencing, they are more or less the same thing, but when you're talking about in-text citation, that means you're talking about the citation you include in the work. I would share a screen later. Can we get the PDF of this lecture of, for instance, in your in-text citation, you just need like two information, author's name and dates. For instance, let's say DK said public face mask usage, corresponds to the most effective mitigation strategy. That's actually a line in one of my research paper. That's why I've been saying it over and over again. So if you're using that sentence, you have to cite inside the body, DK, body of the work, DK 2021. But that's not enough, because just searching DK 2021 on Google will not bring out that paper for me to read more on it. So rather, when you get to the reference section, you will see DK, you see the title, full name of DK and all other authors involved. You see the title of the work, you see the journal of where it was published, and every other detail. So that's referencing. Please, I don't know if I've answered the question. Yeah, okay, yes. Let me share something. I want to show something, how to use. Can we see this Chrome list? Excuse me. Can we see this Chrome window? Can all of us see this Chrome window, please?
Yes, I can see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
So I am opening a paper. I want to download a paper that is not free. You can see it is not free. You have to, I don't even know if this one is where. This paper I was thinking about. Sorry. I don't know if I've missed the paper. So there are some papers that when you want to download them, they are not free, right? You need to kind of pay some money before you access them. I don't know, have you experienced anything like that? Please, I want responses. Papers that are not free.
Yes,
You're trying
almost
to
all
access
the
them
time.
online.
Almost all the time.
Okay. Okay, so that's why you attend webinars like this. So let me show you a little trick. So I've copied the DOI. This is very important. This is what we call DOI. DOI. This is, it's like a set of numbers, an alphabet. It's like it's called digital object identifier. Is what identifies your NIN. It's specific for that paper. You can't have two papers the same DOI. So I've copied it, and then this is a friend. I believe some of us knows him or her. Sci-hub.se. You open Sci-hub. I've copied the DOI. I'm opening Sci-hub, and then Sci-hub opens. That paper is not free, but Sci-hub will do some wonders. So here in Sci-hub, you've seen enter URL, PMID or DOI. So we have the DOI, and we paste it. Open. It's actually game over. This works most of the time. So far you can find the DOI. So far you can find the DOI. You can see it has opened. Can we see it? This is a PDF that is trying to load. If it is in your phone now, it will automatically download.
Yes, we can see.
So I don't want to download the PDF. I will cancel it. Are we okay with it?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Now there are times that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Since most,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let me check the chat if there are any questions. Okay. Yeah, you can just explore it more. Now there are times that since most journals or most how do I put it, platforms, or most people or most resources know about Sci-hub. They know students will use Sci-hub to get an article that is supposed to have been free for free. They'll hide the DOI. There are some articles that you check, you not see the DOI. Have you experienced anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Actually, for me, this is the first time I'm seeing something like DOI.
Same, I'm just saying DOI itself.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know if I should proceed. There are sometimes who hide the DOI since they know you can use Sci-hub. And the thing is that sometimes this Sci-hub does not download all the materials, but it has 90%, should I say accuracy, can give you like 90% of materials are not free too. Now there are some times that do hide the DOI. Let me just say it in case you experience something like that. If they hide the DOI, just copy the name. You need to get the DOI. From getting the DOI, you go to Sci-hub and get the article. Assuming the DOI of this article is not seen, is not visible, I'll copy the name. This is another trick. I'll copy the name, and then I'll use another thing called cite this for me. Sorry. Cite this for me. The DOI of the article. If you put it inside this for me, cite this for me, fetch the DOI out, and then you copy the DOI and then open it inside of. So this is what they do to restrict your access to journal articles. So this is how cite this for me looks like. I don't know if I have signed in with my system before. If I have not signed in, it will need me to sign in, and I may not want to do that. So it tells you which citation style do you want to use. Let me just pick Harvard. You will learn about citation style in subsequent classes. So I'm trying to get the DOI of this article because I'm assuming the DOI is hidden, which always happens in most instances. So I want to get the DOI because getting the DOI will enable me open or get the article for free on Sci-hub without paying a dime. So this is a journal article. So I click on journal. I click on journal. Okay, so now you can see what it says. Search for the article or enter DOI. So let's say I don't know the article DOI. I'm even actually trying to get the DOI. So I'll paste the name. I'll search. So it's searching. So this side is for me will fish out the DOI that was hidden. So I've opened it. This is the first one. This article, I've opened it. So the goal is to get the DOI of this article, assuming it was not beautiful. This is not what I expected. What I expected. Let me see. Continue. Assuming the DOI is hidden, so I'm trying to get the DOI of this article so that I can access it. Network is discouraging for me. I might have to go off from here, but I think from the next page should show the DOI. The next page should show the DOI. I think I'll stop here. Hello, can we go off from here? If you click continue, the next page should show the DOI. It was supposed to have shown it here, but if it's not showing you, that means it will show in the next page. Let me attend to the questions while we're waiting for it to load. Please, can you explain how to see the DOI that was hidden? Oh, I understand now. Okay, 5 more minutes. Somebody's all right. All right. Any more question? Any more question? We're done. From here, you would see your DOI, you copy the DOI, take it to Sci-Hub, you paste it, and then fail to download document because I went out to download, and then you paste it and you download your document. Any other question, please?
No question, sir. I need like.
Sir, please, can you explain the types of plagiarism?
Okay, types of plagiarism. I'll send the material and you'll see it. But the types are salami slicing, duplicate publication, self-plagiarism, and I have, seed fragmentation. When you're using pieces of your result or your idea, you're presenting it as new. And then self-plagiarism, when you're presenting something you've done already, your research work, you're presenting it as a new work. And then duplicate publication, you're submitting your paper to more than 2 journals to be published, giving you 2 publications when it's supposed to be 1. Then the other one, which is salami slicing. I would send the PDF.
Yes, actually, the one that we don't
Salami
clearly
slicing
salami
is when you, okay, that one is a work that is supposed to have been one, you split it into many. Like I was saying, maybe it was a review article initially, but you split it into 3 commentaries and then you submit so that you get 3 publications instead of 1 publication. It's a very common skill that authors do. So instead of getting 1 review article, you are getting 3 publications.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other question? All right, that will be all for tonight. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Anikan. Thank you, Faithful, and every other person that are present in this session. You can
Thank you
always
so much, Mr. Young.
you can always email me or reach out to me through DK. Thank you very much. That'll be all
Thank
for
you,
tonight.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
So if you have any questions after this webinar, you can just send to me. Like, send me a DM, then I can either give you a Young's number or just send it to him, then you answer it. Thank you, everyone. See you next week, Saturday.
Please, how can we get the recorded video of this class? Thank you.
Yeah, we'll send the link during the week. Like, let's say Tuesday, before Tuesday, should be on the Program page.